Hi, everyone, and welcome to this B2Lead conversation. We have another amazing guest today, which is Cristina Cadeddu. Cristina, welcome to the B2Lead conversation.
Thank you, Barbara. Thanks a lot for inviting me into this a great project that you are bringing forward. I really love it. I'm Cristina, like you said. I'm currently based in Dubai. I'm a global talent acquisition manager for LPM Restaurant and Bar, and I come from Italy. Actually, precisely, I am from Sardinia.
Beautiful. And in fact, I didn't want to spoil anything about you and your experience. And thank you for introducing yourself a little bit. And I would start immediately with one question.
Yes.
Clearly, you have achieved a lot in your career and in your life. You are, as you just mentioned, global talent acquisition manager. Where you are today in this position is where you have always wanted to be, or did it just happen?
Well, eventually happened. So I knew it since I was very young that I wanted to bring a contribution to the society in general, but I didn't really plan actually to become a talent acquisition manager. I didn't even plan to be an HR manager because back at the time was something very unknown in Italy. So it was not really a profession that was really how can I say, sponsorized, differently from other things like could be lawyer or doctors and so on and so forth. So
Mhm, mhm,
it
mhm.
happens during my journey, working journey. So I did start in hospitality. I started in the operation. So like most of the young people, they are going to university. I was providing for myself through summer seasons where I started in the hotel and I was doing waiting staff. Basically, I was a waitress. And then from there, I started to develop the passion for people, to serve them, to be attentive, to provide them with an experience. But only when I actually decide to leave Sardinia and to move to London, I came across this magical, I would say, word, which is HR. And
Mhm.
I wanted to dedicate myself for towards something that makes a little bit more sense. So supporting people in their professional growth, be there for them, motivate them, and helping them to find their own career path. And this is when eventually I started, and then I developed myself into what is my job today.
So there was a passion for HR, meaning a passion for people, as you just mentioned,
Correct.
and that was already clear when you were
Yes.
young.
Yeah, totally. The funny fact is, I was studying law and I was feeling unfulfilled.
Mm.
I knew it that I had to educate myself, but eventually something was missing. And in the other side, when I was doing my season and I was interacting with people and I was exchanging with them, I actually felt really, really happy. So it was clear to me that um, I needed to do something which was more into the social environment and linked to people itself rather than law eventually.
And when you realized that you wanted to do something different, I imagine that things started to happen, and somehow there have been a moment or opportunities that actually moved you towards what you discovered you wanted to do. So, be involved in HR. So, if from where you stand today, you look back, can you identify some key moments? Could be something that happened outside, as just mentioned, and opportunities showed up, or could be choices that you decided to make in order to move towards your goal. So can you identify and share with us maybe a few of these key moments?
Yeah, the turning point was in London actually. And I think what I have realized, I was doing a training for my staff. And I did realize that for me was more important to share my knowledge with them and to listen to them and to understand what are their needs, that eventually to providing experience to the customers. So I think that at some point I was feeling like I need to contribute to a bigger mission than what am I doing now, and which was at the time in London was I was a manager on the floor. So, but I was really again a bit in crisis with myself. So this was the biggest change that I have had when I actually decided that HR was making much more sense for myself than moving forward with my career in the restoration. There are few things, with few collateral things, they are linked to that. There is the fact that obviously I wanted also to support my female colleagues. Um, Hospitality is a very male-oriented word, and it is important that we give motivation, we give a sense to what we are doing, and we support them. This is not only something that I have experienced in London, but obviously comes from my past and my background as well. So it was at some point, it was clear to me that in order to do something that has a sense, but also to gain the right position and the right power, pass me the word, to make the change or to contribute to have changes, the best choice that I could do was starting in the HR, especially in the UK, I would say.
So what did you do at that point? Did you ask for a position in HR? Did you speak with somebody? Did you
Correct.
show up differently? What did you do so that you got that position in
Yeah.
HR that you wanted
Well,
to?
it's actually
Somebody invited you. Look, Christina, here it is. What happened there?
that would have been fine, fantastic. No, it was coming out from a very stressful moment.
Mhm.
I was on my age a little bit because of the job, but also because I had a personal unsatisfaction at some point that I needed to resolve, and then I had the chance, and I was very lucky, I have to say, that the owner of LPM, he was a very open person, and he always dedicated time for us to talk to him, to express our frustration or our desire. So eventually I just reached him out, and I told him that I was not feeling anymore able to fulfill my scope of work in the restaurant, but I would have been more interested in developing myself in training and in HR, and he supported me on that. And he sent me to Dubai, and I must say that I didn't like it at the time, so I was not really happy. But for the sake of developing
Mm.
myself and started this new journey, I have accepted. And 6 years later, I'm still here. But
Yeah.
anyway, what to
How
do?
the things clearly changed and you
Yeah.
familiarized with Dubai. What it's very interesting, Christina, what you're saying, and what I am hearing here is that first of all you needed to be clear. So you were actually clear about what you wanted. So it was not anymore what you were doing, working on the floor. I understand, right, as a manager on the floor. You knew that you wanted to work in HR in the field in the training. And so first element here, and then second, you had the courage to ask for what you wanted because you reached out to the owner, and then you asked and you expressed what you wanted. You were not satisfied. Here it is what I would like to do. And the third element I hear that contributed was the fact that this gentleman was open to listen to you. So you found somebody that was open to listen. So these are
Yes.
three ingredients: know what I want, I know what I want, I ask for it, and on the other side I have somebody that helped me.
Yeah.
Mm?
Yeah, I think that in life, and that is a lesson that I learn on my journey. Whenever we dream about something, it's important that we put ourselves out there, and we have the courage of speaking out loud and standing up for what we want. So it's very easy to dream. You can really close your eyes and dream about everything. But something very different is actually find the strength of standing up for yourself and pursuing the objective that you want to achieve, and the goals that you want to achieve again. So I think, yes, something that I do all the time, wherever I want to accomplish or I have any project, or I want to reach any step in my life. I do evaluate, first of all, the pros and the cons, but at the same time, always take the risk of it, because at the end of the day, the question that will be important to ask to ourselves is, what could it be the worst scenario that can happen to us? So eventually someone will tell you no, and that's it, and then you can move forward, you can find another way. But if you don't ask, if you don't have the courage to stand up for yourself, how you can achieve your goals? Who is going to be there to knock at your door and propose you something, right?
Mm.
Then, yeah. So in conclusion, it's true that what you said, I was lucky enough that I had someone that supported my vision. Most of the time is not the case. But again, I was reading I was looking in Instagram, a quote, now that we are in this social media world, and said, if you are not satisfied with something, just move, you are not a tree. And it's very true. Sometimes we are in our comfort zone. We don't have the courage of doing the next step. But eventually, it is what we need to do, to achieve what
Mm.
we want.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is a very powerful attitude to have,
Yeah.
right? Having this courage. And if you look back at your path, Christina, would you say that you have always had this courage, or somehow did you develop it? Were you able to grow into having courage?
Oh,
And
I
the reason I'm
yes,
asking, sorry that I interrupted you,
yes.
is because if somebody is wondering, but while they are listening to your story, they might wonder, okay, maybe Christina is courageous by nature. So how can I help myself to develop courage if I am in fear more than Christina was? So how did you do it?
Well, I think I always had in me something, but it's also true that I developed it. And
Mm,
that comes with experience. So a young girl might not be the courageous. And I have to be honest, I do have many colleagues right now, or people that are part of my life. They might don't have my same attitude. But again, there are certain skills that you develop with the time, and there are certain moments where you realize what is important for you. And to have the courage, it takes only one time. So my turning point on developing this attitude was, I believe, before I moved to London. The reason why I moved to London actually came out of a very sad feedback that I have received from my manager at the time. And he told me, Christina, you are too old. I was on my 25, 26 years old at the time. And he told me, you are too old. You're never going to be anyone in this field. And plus, you don't really speak fluently any language except for Italian. And I got so upset, so frustrated, and humiliated at the same time. And I was like, I'm not even 30. How you can tell me so? I have a lifetime in front of me. And I remember that I told to myself, I will take my revenge. So I will prove him that he is wrong. I have I have the intelligence of doing that. And then obviously from the moment on, I never let anyone to be so harsh on me or to judge me. At the end of the day, what we need to realize is whenever we receive a feedback, it's important to understand where the feedback is coming from, but it is another human being that is giving it to you. And that feedback comes from their background, their education, their own experiences, and their biases. So that doesn't mean that they are describing you. Is meaning the meaning is they are describing what they perceive of you, but the perception is not who you are. So I think that for all the ladies out there, taking the courage is really 1 second. It's just yourself that you put your mind on it, you evaluate the risk, what could happen, what could be the worst thing that could happen to me. So example, if I'm a young girl, you have a lifetime, so there is nothing wrong that can happen to you, because you have millions of a company that would be happy to have you on board, and you have millions of opportunity out there. If you are a woman, a mother with kids, might be different. But then again, maybe with your expertise, with your intelligence, you can find a place that is more suitable for you. So maybe you can be a little bit more diplomatic, but at the same time, try to find something that can fit you better. Don't remain in a company or in any environment that doesn't appreciate you, because that is not who you are. And eventually, you know better who you are than
Mm.
them.
So what you're saying is also uh, trust in the fact that there are opportunities
Yes.
out there, even if when you are making this step and you're making the decision, or you know what, I need to change, you might not know all the opportunities that will show up. So having this trust in life and in the fact that there is an abundance of opportunities out there, it's just a matter of discovering and showing up and actually asking
Yeah.
for what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's not my personal experience, but I can tell you that I have met a lot of people in my life that were afraid to talk, were afraid to ask, were afraid to change their job, and then eventually they found the courage and they did it. And now they are fulfilled, they are happy, they are doing what they love, they have found people they are supporting them. So I think that what we need to realize is that we need to love ourselves, we need to believe in ourselves, and especially if you are a professional person that is working in a field for many, many years, you have the knowledge, so you can propose yourself in any environment. And another thing, and this is out of experience, is you will find in your way people that believe in you. There are
Mm.
out there people that will believe in you. So maybe today the company that you are working for or the situation where you are in is not the most ideal for you, but that doesn't mean that all are. So it's just a matter of changing your mindset and taking the chance.
Beautiful. So I have so many questions I would like to ask you, but let me start from what you said. It seems to me that you have encountered mentors, or if not formal mentors, people that supported you, or perhaps you found role models that you wanted to emulate somehow, and they were actually role models for you to follow. Is that so? Did you meet on your path people that actually supported you and believed in you, as you just mentioned?
Indeed. Look, I will not say mentors. Unfortunately, I never found a mentor like in the canonic way, but definitely role models and definitely people they have helped me a lot. As a role model, I always take my mom. She really well, she really built me up actually, and she showed me how to be compassionate, how to care about people, how to care about your family, your values, and what is important in life. And she pushed me to go to take the chance to discover, to empower myself. So, and to be an independent woman, always maintaining, these values that are family and love and friendship, but nurturing my ambitions. So she was the very first one, definitely. And then Yeah, in my path, I met a lot of people that gave me suggestions. They were conducting their own life in a way that I was not used to it, but I found it beautiful. My best friend in London, perhaps, she saved me when I arrived there. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language. I was confused. I come from a very small village, so London was gigantus for me, and she was there to show me everything. You know, she was living in London since 9 years by then, and she took me under her wing, and she was there for everything that I needed. And you know what I found it really beautiful when you come from a small village like myself, the tendency that ladies have towards each other is a lot of criticism. There is not much supporting around, you know. There is always this kind of a conflictuality, and she was there for me for you know, like in a very genuine way, with no meaning than compassion and support and love. And yeah, she has been a great example for myself. And then eventually, you know, managers, not necessarily, sorry, females, but also males. And one very recently is, you know, the CEO of my company is a very genuine person, and is always there, you know, to listen to us, to listen to our ideas, to be open, to discover new things, bring a conversation on the table where what we can do together. What do you think? What do you think would be best? And you know, those people, you see they are in a very important positions, or no, but they do believe in you. So
Mm.
meanwhile, they are empowering you and they are teaching you how to be, because life is a domino for me, right? So if I do good to you, you will learn and you will feel like I have to do the same, right? So we are just pushing each other towards a better world, I believe.
Mm. That's very powerful, and I think very important as well, because it seems like in your career you have encountered people that were willing to help and support you. So I just wonder, if you look back now, and you observe yourself from this standpoint, would you say that was also something that you did? Maybe the fact that your attitude was positive, or maybe you were particularly open, or you were willing to learn and evolve. I'm asking this because sometimes we don't realize that maybe we say, well, I haven't met anybody that actually believes in me. And perhaps there is a way to observe people, to interact with people, that we do not always realize that we do or don't do. So just wondering, if you look at your experience, what made
Yes.
it different so that people were willing to help you and empower you, or I don't know if empower anyway, that they gave you opportunities.
Yeah, I believe that having a positive attitude helps a lot. If you start to commiserate yourself and put
Mm,
yourself in a circle of negativity, then you miss the opportunity out there. Yes, I was lucky, we can say so, that in my journey I meet these people, but I think that we attract also this kind of people. When we are seeking for positivity, for love, we attract what we need. So it's important that we open our mind and we look around ourselves and we find the positive things that are happening even in negative situations, because
mm,
you know, people around you, they perceive the way how you are. If you're keeping on complaining constantly, they will
mm,
take the distance from you. But
mm,
if you are seeking for help,
mm,
then they will help. Maybe not
mm,
everyone, but you will have one person, at least one, that is going to be there to encourage you.
mm,
So I think that sometimes what we need to do is stop to crying on what is wrong and looking more in what we are doing good, what is positive around us, and what chances we can take. Look,
mm,
I still have, even though sometimes it's hard to believe, but I really still have hope in humanity. I really do believe that there is a lot of good people out there, and we just need to be perceptive towards them. We just need to open ourselves and accept uh, the help that they want to give us, accept this positivity, accept the fact that we are fragile as a human being, and especially for us as ladies, we have been through so many things in many, many centuries. It is important that now we stop to cry on what has happened and start to react. And the way how we can react is offering our support to others, offering our knowledge, offering our experiences to others, and let others to help us. Without thinking there is a second agenda behind it. Sometimes there is none. So yeah, I think that yes, I was lucky to conclude with my answer, but I believe that also I wanted to believe that out there are good people. That's how the
Mm,
change started.
mm, mm. So I love what you have just said. Basically, your attitude of also noticing opportunities, possibilities, and not staying stuck on the problem, but
Correct.
looking for solutions, right? And when you say stop complaining, is when we complain, we are stuck in the problem.
Yes.
And we forget that there are actually solutions to problems, right? And so what
Yeah.
you are saying is search and look for what's positive and what is possible instead of being stuck and blocked really by what we consider as problem. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
if you now look at where you stand today
Mhm.
and you have matured this attitude, you know how you have learned how to approach problems and challenges. What would you say are key challenges that you are facing today, still as a woman, even if you are a woman in leadership and you have your seniority? What would you say are key challenges that women in your position are still facing, and how would you suggest us to go about those challenges?
Yes. I think that, as I mentioned before, there is a lot of conflictuality still among women,
Mm,
and that is one of, on my viewpoint, one of the main problem that we are still facing. You know, I can see that, and it's sad to say, all the movement around all the feminist movement started with a very good cause, and then eventually it developed in something which is uh, still very confusing, where to me the answer is very simple to the problematic. We have been in a very um, sorry, our position throughout the history as was very low, and we been through that together. So we understand what are the problematic, we understand the way how we feel, we understand the injustice that we have lived, that we are still living. So the very first thing that we should do is actually sharing our experiences, discussing together, and supporting each other instead of being competitive, instead of going there and criticizing to diminishing the other person. So as a woman, what we should learn from our male colleagues is more how to bound and to support. Because the what I have noticed is, um, I give you an example of my office. All of our guys, they are very, very different. They come from different countries, and yet they can discuss about football, and they are all friends. Example. So I'm joking on that, but the thing is, they are able to create a group, a supportive group, and they really got their own back. And you never really listen them talking in a negative way about one
mm,
person or the other, but
mm,
actually,
mm,
whenever
mm,
there is a problem, they find the solution together. Where in the other way, when we are in the position of um, you know giving our project or developing something, we are always, oh my god, I have to protect what I'm doing because maybe I'm not valued. Maybe this person will do better than myself. Where the
Mm.
attitude be, look, she's not doing great. I have the answer to that. Let's help her. Let's make it together. Let's find something together. So I think today what we should do is being more close to each other, understanding each other and moving forward
Mhm.
together and supporting, always be supportive and compassionate towards your female colleague.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. I think that what we can do as women and what we can learn is really what you're saying, right? How do we collaborate with each other in a new way,
Yeah.
having the courage to trust each other instead of coming from probably an experience that puts ones against each other. So from being competitive to being collaborative in new ways. So that's really beautiful and actually inspiring as a opportunity to think and to enact. So wonderful, Christina. That's really beautiful. One last question. I am aware of time, and I have one last question for you. If you had to give one piece of advice to, I don't know if you have children or not, but if you had a child, both a boy and a girl, and you could give them one piece of advice so that they could be fulfilled in life and grow in a way that really they can find their meaning and be fulfilled individuals, what would you tell them?
Well, if I have a boy, I will tell him to, um, first of all, to learn how to listen and to pay attention, not only to women, but to everyone. It's important that we start to reduce this masculinity social construct around our boys, and we let them experience empathy, and
Mhm.
then let them be more compassionate towards people. And to my girl, I will say, be yourself, believe in yourself, and you are capable to achieving whatever you want. You just need to put yourself on it. And once you will be in the position of giving your support, do it all the time. Yeah, this is, I think, what I will tell them. To
Beautiful.
go.
Beautiful. Christina, thank you so much. That has been really great to hear your story. And before I let you go, if people want to reach out to you, want to connect to you, where can they find you?
Well, in my profile, LinkedIn, or they can send me an email as well. So, but I'm very active on LinkedIn. So whenever they want, I'm happy to have a conversation with them. And if there is anyone out there that want to experience the hospitality world, feel free also to contact me.
That's wonderful. Christina, thank you so much for your time and for your openness and generosity in sharing your
Thank you,
story
Barbara.
and your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.